with. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a wonderful guest today, Nico Jonville from our Carlsbad Market Center. And Nico's team is the #1 for 2020 in all of Keller Williams in San Diego. He's #2 in our Southern California region, which is Orange and San Diego counties. He's also in the top 100 teams nationwide with over 195,000 associates. And he is selling his listings for 102.5% more. And he's also selling them 2.25 times faster. And year to date 2021, you're selling them 3 times faster, which is outrageous. 2020, you did 200 units and did over 160 million in sales volume. Amazing, and congratulations, and thank you so much, Nico. And tell us a little bit about your year-to-date. What is your year-to-date listings? Are you seeing?
Thank you. Yeah. So, and obviously, I have a team of really great and experienced agents, so that really helps. I'm not doing all this by myself. There's no way I would be able to do that. So kudos to them for being so efficient. Our year-to-date, so listing-wise, is challenging everywhere. And so, as last year we were, the first 3 months of the year, obviously, we're not really hit by COVID until we got into March. So it was a strong beginning. And so actually this year, because of the listing shortage, we're about 20% down on our numbers. We hear competitors that are, on par or, as much as 60-70% down. So we're not doing too bad. We put a lot of stuff in action in order to make it happen and convert this, get more listings on the table, basically. So that's where we're at this year so far, year to date. And you're muted, Colleen.
Thank you. So tell us what you and your team are doing to win more listings over the competition, and certainly with the thousands of realtors we have in our MLSs. How are you winning?
Well, there's quite a few different, there's a lot of different things. First, there's the lead gen, how to get to more tables, more kitchen tables. And then the next thing is how to close them once we are there. So we're dealing with how do we get people away from the fear of listing. The problem for most people is they're concerned that they're not going to be able to have a place to go. And so how do we turn this around and make them comfortable? So first of all, in regards to the number of listings, care calls to our entire database. We have buyers. The numbers are, the numbers that we can get on our listings are outrageous. You can expect some unbelievable numbers. Do you know of somebody, or would you be interested in selling and cashing out some of these numbers, or moving into another house? And we can help you do that and make you comfortable. So that's really about getting the message out. Care calls is a big deal. Postcards and social media. So we outreach on our social media, telling everybody the latest sales that we've had, and they're all records. The whole 100, 200, 300,000 over the latest comp. So that gets people really excited. Hopefully, get some of them off the fence. So it's really about getting to more listing table. Then once we're there, it's about converting these. One of the challenges these days is also the fact that people think that home sells by themselves. So they feel that they might not need a top area expert, or they might talk to a discount broker, or is it that important to have a top agent, and maybe I can ask Aunt Susie to sell my home. So those are the things that we are having obviously to deal with. At the kitchen table, it's essential to really make our point of difference. So in our team, we're very systematic. We have a very systematic approach in terms of how we, from taking the listing, from actually reaching out to the seller, to taking the listing all the way to closing. So we share our story, we share our success stories, and now we've made a difference many times and sold those homes for so much more than Aunt Susie, who sold, the home around the corner for Joe and Jane, for example. People want to feel, they also don't want to have to deal with having to show the house for a week, weeks at a time, and having hundreds of people go through their home. So we go through the process, and that's also winning at the kitchen table by making them comfortable how we handle that process. Our expertise and the systems are in place to win 110% of the time. And not only that, but get them more money at the end in their pocket. When that conversation of commission comes up, because these days it comes up very often because there's a lot of agents who are discounting their services. There's a lot of agents who are even discounting the CBB, the broker side of the commission. And so we explain very clearly how we are very systematic and how systematically we get our much more money for our clients with a very smooth experience 100% of the time, which is not always the case. So there's a lot of hurdles. There's a lot of things to work around when you have a listing. The appraisal is a big thing, when you're going over by so much more money than before. So there's a lot of things that are essential to explain and go over. So it comes from lead gen, how to get to more listings, and it goes to how do we convert once we're at the kitchen table.
Excellent. So tell us about how much time are you personally spending on lead gen, and what is the standards for each of your team members?
Yeah, so the lead gen includes lead follow-up. It includes the care calls, and so everybody's doing no less than 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours a day of basically outreach, whether it's doing special marketing on their Facebook, whether it's interacting on social media, whether it's care calls, obviously, to the database, whether it's putting together marketing campaigns, postcards being sent out to outreach to potential sellers, and so forth. So those lead generation or lead follow-up, sphere interaction is about probably 2 to 3 hours a day for every one of our team members.
Excellent, excellent. And so going back to, you mentioned you do marketing around a sold listing or a new listing. What does that look like, essentially?
Yeah. So we do a lot of farming. So postcards go out systematically when we have a listing that gets listed. A postcard go out with the list price, and then quickly we put a postcard out that says in escrow in 3 days. And 12 offers negotiated. We have other buyers for your home, and to basically make sure that they realize the kind of numbers that we can get, and we offer our services for home evaluation. So that is what we do systematically on every listing. When the listing gets sold, obviously there's a postcard that goes out about the listing saying, "Hey, new record." There are in terms of trying to find out a lot of the in order to get more listings, it's also essential to kind of break the fear or understand the fear of why the people won't list. Why, when somebody might want to move up, or or move or get into a smaller home, why wouldn't they sell now where you can get the absolute best numbers? Is it that their family is not ready? It's not the right time? Or is it, and very often it is because they can't find a home. They've been looking and they go too fast, or they think they're too expensive. So there's a lot of things that we explain in order to get them to feel more comfortable. It's not so much and that is the message that we put out there. We can get you into a home. We can make it comfortable for you. This is a seller's market. We can negotiate the best terms for you, and therefore we might be able to get your rent back. So there's a lot of different things that we explain to basically convert. And back to your question, what do we do to generate more listings from these listings? It's about explaining also that our client gets 60 days rent back, that our client will also get them that home. And by the way, we get them that home off market. So it's about sharing these stories, these success stories, so it breaks that fear, and they realize that, oh, these guys know how to do it. They get their clients into another home where it looks like it's so difficult for everybody else to get property. So we have special strategies to do these things and obviously get them comfortable and therefore want to list.
That's awesome. So you're saying that, let's say you just took a new listing and now you're sending out a postcard. Are you waiting until it goes into escrow since they're selling so fast, or is it still say just listed?
Well, we have some postcards that go out that's just listed, and then and basically on that same postcards we'll have buyer needs, and we'll say looking to sell your home. We have family XYZ looking for this, that, and the other, and then we have 4 or 5 buyer needs in our postcards, for example. So it kind of entices them, the sellers, to obviously know that it might be like a super smooth and easy transaction. They might as well just call and we have that right buyer for them. But also we're promoting on that same postcard other listings that we have upcoming. And in that same postcard, we've also promoting what we call our SD Resource Center, which is Find Homes Before Market. So we have invited homeowners for years to basically almost kind of give their move up price. So we have potential sellers that are in our pipeline, and so it's about making a match. So when people receive that message, they're like, oh wow, maybe they have one of these homes that I'm looking for. It's all about breaking the fear to get them to call, and then obviously it's about having a clear, straight message at the kitchen table again once we meet.
Fantastic, fantastic. And then you send the sold listing postcard. And so those are all just specific strategies for them, whatever may be on the table right now, sent to be able to get a call to action is what I'm hearing. Aside from buyer needs, but saying how you got this listing sold.
Absolutely. And it's getting, so one of the example of postcard, just sold 123 Main Street, 12 offers negotiated, shown for 2 days, or 25 showings, and negotiated 12 offers and sold for $120,000 over latest comp, or $300,000 over latest comps, new neighborhood record. Looking for a home, looking to sell a home, looking to buy a new home, call your area specialist, the Jonville team, as the message. And then they have like a couple different URLs that they can go to pull their home evaluation, to put their home and themselves on our make me move price, the Jonville team make me move price kind of thing. And looking if we have a match for their home basically as well in our database, in case they don't want to go on the market and they want a nice and easy, smooth transaction without a lot of showing.
Excellent, excellent. And then when you're sending these postcards, is it to a certain number of homes that are in the circumference of the home you're listing, or is it to your entire farm? How does that work?
That's a great question. So we have a farm of about 5,000. We have a direct farm of 5,000 homes. Then we have indirect farms of 18,000 homes altogether. So basically we're mailing monthly to 18,000. They get a good size postcard, or a 8.5 by 17 folded, or a classic 8.5 by 11, both sides. And then when we have a specific just sold property, that postcard goes to 200 to 300 around. We do a minimum of 200 because otherwise we don't hit the bulk rate. So you have a bulk rate if you hit at least 200. We get these addresses from speaking with the title company, or we have direct access, through websites to pull the addresses of all those people, and then we send that postcard out. Another thing that we do out to get more listings is we mail to the absentee owners. So there's, like in the area that I just described, 5,000 homes, there's about 470 homes that are basically tenant occupied. So we send a postcard to the landlords. A lot of agents send locally, but they don't think about sending to, out to whoever lives in New York and owns a home there. And obviously we basically we have the interested in cashing out of your investment property. Do you want to get into move your money to a different neighborhood, or different you want to get out of HOA and Melrose? If it's a home in an area with like higher taxes, do you want to get away and buy another home in an area where you have more cash flow? Let us know, blah blah blah. And so we're offering our services to these folks as well.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Very well-oiled machine, it sounds like, this operation.
Yeah, thank you. It's quite systematic. Yeah.
And what about now? So you obviously are reviewing a lot of offers with your sellers. What are some of those key things that are important for our agents representing buyers and wanting to get their offer at least a counter in this market?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and it's a challenge for even the most experienced agents these days. Our agents are, obviously we're all dealing with the same thing. So there's what's important to us is when I'm putting my listing agent's hat, okay, and it's how motivated is this buyer, okay. By the way, we coach our clients, Mr. Seller, this is not necessarily the best offer, is not necessarily the highest offer. It's the offer that's going to get us to close, because it's easy to write something on paper. It's a different story once you put the money in the bank. So we need to make sure that these buyers that are coming in are the most secure, the most motivated buyers, and they're going to take us all the way to closing. So the level of motivation, we ask actually the buyer's agent, okay, how long has your buyer been searching in the area? How long have you been working with this buyer? Because if it's a buyer that just came off of the internet last night, or 3 days ago, they don't really have a relationship built. Therefore, we know the agent is not necessarily going to be able to guide them as much as if they have built weeks or months of relationship and guidance. So how long have you been working with them? Is your client familiar with the area? Have they written offer on other properties in the area? And did they get any other offers accepted that they didn't move forward with? They end up canceling. Is this property 100% match? What exactly is your client looking for in case we have something else, if that property were to not be the one that they're able to get? So we can kind of figure out if it's a really good match and how serious that buyer is, not just throwing a bunch of offers everywhere because they keep losing, so they just throw anything and then might end up not working out. The financial strength is really essential on a more technical aspect, because most properties will sell for way above what the latest comps sold for. Therefore, if there's an appraisal shortage, which we've been lucky that we've been able to make the appraisal pool so far so good, but sometimes it's a stretch of like 2, 3, 4% compared to the latest or 7% compared to the latest sale. Do they have the money, and are they willing to put that money forth? Are they willing to remove their appraisal contingency with the offer? So there's a lot of different things and different conversations that we have with the agent, so we can get a buyer's agent, so we can get a feel if this buyer is like a motivated buyer, or if they're just shooting left and right, and it might just not be the right match, right? It's a lot more difficult, as we explain to our sellers. Once you cancel a contract, once you're under contract with a buyer, it's a lot more difficult to cancel this buyer or to negotiate in once we're already under contract. So I would rather upfront have the best buyer that is not going to try to renegotiate or do some crazy repair request and come with $20,000 worth of repairs that don't even really exist. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes. And speaking of that, do you have your sellers do an inspection prior to going active to know what may come up?
So we actually started doing this, particularly in the most out of norm properties, like older properties that we know there might be, if they're not a typical cookie cutter newer home where we know it's going to be very minor, there's hardly anything. But any time that a house starts to have 15, 20, 30 years old, or be on a raised foundation, or be a different type property, then we're going to be doing an inspection up front. Obviously, if our seller agrees with it, we're going to provide termite. And when an offer comes in, we're going to provide those disclosures. And then basically we're going to use that part of negotiation and say, please confirm that your offer stands. And does it stand at the number, or are you going to raise or lower your offer? So, and then from there, we know we already have a buyer who's not going to, run away because they heard that there's a little crack in the corner of the patio in the front or something.
Excellent, excellent. And then what are some of the scripts specifically that you're using to get the the sellers off the fence, let's say if they are worried about not finding their replacement property?
Right. So there's a lot of different scripts. We can script it together. We can do that. So tell me more, Colleen. So you want to sell your home. You realize that the numbers that you can get for your home are incredible these days, right?
I couldn't agree with you more. That's why I piqued my interest.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Colleen, there's a lot of different things that we can do in order to make you comfortable. What is your concern about selling your home today? Tell me more about that.
I just want to make sure I find the right house to move into. I've been in this house for 12 years and I intend to be in this next house for 12 or more years. And so I don't imagine me just finding it over one weekend.
No, that's completely true. There's a lot of things that we do. And about 50% of our clients our clients that we sold their property in the last 6 months. Over 50% of them needed to buy a home, and we found them the home. So we have never had a homeless seller so far. So I'm gonna knock on wood, and we're gonna make that happen for you. So there's a lot of different things that we do. But first, it's true, it's very competitive. Because it's very competitive, it's kind of like it's the catch-22. In order for you to be competitive, the listing agent is going to look for a non-contingent buyer. He's going to look for a buyer who does not need to sell a home, right? And do you need to sell your home, or are you qualified to buy without selling your current property?
No, I definitely want to use my equity to be able to put a strong down payment for my next house.
Got it. Well, nowadays, it's kind of a perfect storm for a seller to sell their home, because they can benefit and buy a new home. First of all, they can get absolute top dollars, incredible, outrageous numbers. And two, they can actually buy the replacement property for pennies on the dollar when you look at the interest rates that we have, because the interest rates are incredible. You know that if when you have an interest rate that's 1 to 2% lower than a kind of a normal average, you're actually saving 20 to 40% on your monthly payment. So it's kind of perfect timing. However, we want you to prepare. We want our clients always to be well prepared, so we win with them. So there's a couple of things that we do. In order to win, we need to be non-contingent. Otherwise, the sellers it's very unlikely they're going to consider your offer serious. In order for you to be non-contingent, we need to either work something out like a bridge loan type thing, and we have some lenders who can help with that. Or the other option is we have to make sure we have the money in the bank for you. That means the property is already in escrow or sold already with the money in the bank. And then we can get you, we can be a lot more aggressive on the purchase of the home. So we can hook you up with one of our preferred lenders to get the bridge loan set up. Once we have offers received on your home, what we do is we negotiate them. And over half of our clients, again, over 50% of our clients who needed one, did get a rent back up to 60 days, for example. So that gives us extra time. You basically close your home in 30 days, get the money in the bank. You can write non-contingent, very, very strong offers right away. As soon as your home is in escrow, they're not non-contingent yet, but we're getting there. And then from there, we can move into the phase that you're fully underwritten, fully approved, and your offer is just as good as cash. Do you know what underwritten means, Colleen?
Yes, I heard. So that's interesting. I didn't realize I could rent back my own house.
Yeah, so we would rent back your own house. we would get you under contract. So once we write offers, we can be as flexible as we can. We can tell the seller they can rent back a 30-day as well. We can set up a system where you basically are moving in, you're staying in your property totally comfortable, and we can eventually extend the rent back. We have situations where we've been able to extend the rent back. All of this is contractual and upfront. And so far, again, we've never had any client, not being able to move. But there's a lot of other things, Colleen, that we're going to do besides getting you fully approved, underwritten, monies in the bank. What we're going to do is we're going to outreach to all the agents in that neighborhood that you're interested in. We're going to send them a letter. We're going to send a letter to the homeowners with the homes that match what you're looking for. We're going to outreach to the agents who are area specialists in these areas. And we're going to do pitch sessions with all the agents to see what their upcoming listings are. We're going to really be working it hard to get you into your new home, and you can just relax, be at peace. We do the work. Once we have a property that we show you, whether it's on market or off market, we need to be 100% ready, and it's going to work out. You're going to get top dollar, and you're going to be able to move into your new home. There's also another thing, Colleen, that we can do, which is we can sell your home contingent upon seller finding suitable replacement property. So if you're not 100% sure, we can tell the buyers, because it's a very, it's a very hot market, it's a seller's market, clearly, we can negotiate with the buyers that they will allow you to cancel the contract if you don't find a home in the next 2 weeks, 4 weeks. So it's basically complete bulletproof for you.
Well, that sounds pretty awesome. Well, let's get an appointment on the books. Thank you, Nico.
We'll sign right here.
Fabulous, fabulous. Well, does anyone on the call have any questions for Nico? I've been asking away. Such great material and great scripts, great ideas. Thank you, Nico.
Of course, you're welcome.
Yeah, I got a couple quick questions. One, is this recorded? Because that was excellent how smooth that was. I really like that, Nicholas. Is this recorded?
Yes.
Okay, good. And the second question I had for Nicholas was your service that you're doing. You're sending out all these postcards and doing your farming and stuff in your area. Are you using a service for that where it goes out automatically, or you have somebody in charge of that? And ballpark, what kind of budget are you allocating for the mail outs?
Yeah, great question. So we're using EDDM very often for the regular farm stuff. We're using EDDM, so it goes by bulk, by routes, by post office routes. And then when it comes to the specific area that are around the property that we just sold or just listed, that goes bulk mail. I do have 3 people in my marketing department, so we are handling this directly in-house. However, before we would do the same thing, and we would send the list to the postcard company, and they would put it together and just mail it directly. So there's a lot of different ways. We are a bigger operation, so I have the budgets for staff to work the marketing, but it's very easy to work with the postcard company. I know that Command, for example, you can send postcard directly through Command just by uploading the address. You prepare your stuff, and it all goes out. You don't have to be uberly fancy and custom. You can, that's a good way to start anyway. Get the message out is really most important. I hope that answered your question. Does it?
Any other questions? Well, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Nico. Congratulations again. And we will get you a recording of this as well. And so let's get more listings out there. We have lots of buyers wanting to sell. So have a great afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Nico. Congratulations to you and your team.
Good luck, guys.
All right, bye for now.
Goodbye.
Thanks, Nico.
You're welcome. Good luck.